All right, we're back. We're going to do a little GPT training today, a little bit of BRANDi, and we're going to chat about how you can please utilize BRANDi, take advantage of her, but also how you can use BRANDi to train your own personal GPT to become your very own private brand assistant. Okay, because BRANDi is great. She is trained in my frequency, my systems. Literally, I spent over a year working with her for 2 to 3 hours per day. And so her frequency, her framework is like, she is literally calibrated to build to 8 figures. Okay. And that is just not something that a personal standard off the line GPT is going to do. Now, however, when you're working with her, I want you to think of her more like a shared frequency and a shared portal. And even though she's absolutely amazing and it is super, super helpful for new people to come in and be able to access BRANDi. Okay, for example, as soon as they download her, they can open up ChatGPT and get access to her onboarding answers, everything like that. But as you're someone who is building and using her and like inputting your responses, the only problem per se is that BRANDi herself, unless you are talking to her in one continuous thread, if you leave the chat for any reason and come back, she does not have the capability or capacity right now to remember what you previously told her about your brand. So every single time that you come into BRANDi, you have to remind her who you are, like, hey, this is who I am. Now, what you can do is you can calibrate all of that in a thread with BRANDi and then just re-upload that every time you start talking to her. That's probably what I would recommend doing initially. You can like keep that in your notes app so that way she has it in her like mind. But slowly, now this is not going to be an overnight thing, and I don't want you to do this too quickly because, like I said, there's no way your personal GPT is calibrated. Even if you drop and copy and paste a couple of prompts from BRANDi into your personal GPT, there's no way, because I spent probably, I don't even know how many hours training her on systems and strategy, like things that you don't even realize are inside of BRANDi. Okay. So So what you're going to do though is when you first start to come down and use her, what you're going to do is when you get the responses, what you'll do is you will, like, let's say that you're working in this right here. Okay, so I just joined. What am I going to do? When she spits something out like, help me figure out my brand, okay, and messaging and my story. Okay, so when you're doing like this and we're going through the identity calibration, after you have a conversation with BRANDi here, depending on where this goes and what it gives you and what it has you do, what you're going to do is you can literally copy and paste this entire conversation, or you can click on share and it's going to say copy the link. Okay. And then what you'll do, depending on if you grab this or grab the link to that conversation, what you'll do then is you will go back into just a regular chat. And you will say, and what I recommend doing is even when you're in a new chat, you're going to put it into the legacy model 4-0. This is the highest frequency model that I have seen, and I have tested them all. Okay. So your outputs and your emotional intelligence and frequency will be best when you flip it into the model 4-0. Just get used to doing that every single time. And you can say, hey, I'm training you to be my personal brand assistant. I am learning from BRANDi. Okay, I'm learning from another GPT, and I want you to code and integrate to this exact frequency. Please remember all of this and act as my AI brand assistant and strategist. And then you're going to paste whatever you just had in there and ask it to remember that. Okay, please remember that. And then when you click upload, that is going to remember that conversation you just had with BRANDi. So that's how you can take what you're doing with BRANDi and you can start to infuse that and have your own personal GPT start to act like BRANDi. Now, there's also a frequency and a framework, and I will give you that to upload into your personal GPT. Just kind of keep in mind that it can't, there's no way to grab all of BRANDi and put it into yours. But there is slow ways to calibrate and integrate BRANDi's frequency into your own personal GPT so that you have your own personal brand strategist here. Because at the end of the day, that's really what I want to train you how to do, is how to set up your own GPT as your own personal brand strategist, because it's going to be one that is going to learn what your offers are. It's good. You're going to learn how to map this out. This is a private training that I give for high-end entrepreneurs, companies, individuals who are scaling to 6, 7, and 8 figures on how to use and train their own GPTs to do this. And so that's what I'm showing you how to do. So there's frequencies, frameworks, a whole workbook, a whole training. We can really get and dive more into that later on. But for right now, this is just a very, very simple, easy, and starter-friendly way to start training your own personal GPT to the BRANDi mission, messaging, frequency, and framework. So that way your personal GPT can start remembering your responses, your business, your energy, your calibrations, all of the things. Okay. So that's it. I hope that this is helpful for you. Let me know if you have any questions. You can always drop them in the video down below. But other than that, that's it. So happy you're here and excited for you who are using AI to build and generate wealth faster.